I'm Dr. Viveka. I run a venture studio based out of Singapore. We are backed by the Enterprise Singapore. And this topic is particularly of interest to me, and these are two people that I always wanted to meet with. I'll start with Dr. Parvez, right? So your journey, like in the startup ecosystem for at least 17 years, 2 decades almost, you should have seen the transition, or you should have seen the landscape evolving between the relationship between startups and multinationals. And how do you view it? And yeah, what are your thoughts in the Tamil Nadu ecosystem, the relationship between startups and multinationals, which is something I very strongly believe.
Yeah. See, in the Western world, I think we are very familiar, like Apple and Googles of the world. They acquire a lot of startups in the backyard. While we all think about they are doing great R&D in their corporate, but actually they are doing 500 to 600 startups acquiring because they found that they wanted to bring them into a mainstream. And then that's how they do a lot of this corporate accelerator program and so on. So we thought that we will wanted to do that same model here, and corporates like Mahindra and Ashok Leyland, they are all already started thinking about the same, like because they feel that this is a frugal innovation, and then they wanted to bring it to the mainstream with less investment. In fact, I call them as low-cost R&D outsourcing, right? And that's how it's getting evolved. And we do such, collaboration with multinationals like Ashok Leyland. We're doing for this corporate hackathon where they can, onboard new ideas. We did one with KTM Bike in Austria. So that's an international thing which we did. So we feel that there is a strong role for an incubator to bring up the startups and corporates together.
Okay, I'm a very strong proponent of open innovation. In fact, my previous accelerator, it was a corporate innovation arm. And we had built startups from, like, there was no startup. And then we gave a problem statement. And then now they are doing an annual, average ARR of 5 million. So I totally agree with whatever you said. And I also believe that gone are those days when you develop a product and see, okay, where to sell it. Now you solve real world problems. So it's really very nice to know that the CIIC is doing this. And coming back to you, Dr. Suresh, 25 years, right, since PSD step, that's a long time. And how is the investment landscape? How do you look at it, the relationship between Indian startups and the Southeast Asian investors? And what has happened in the past 25 years? Yeah.
Um, 25 years is a long journey, but the collaboration between India and the other countries, that too especially for the startup sector, it has picked up in last 4 5 years. So we can't take this 25 years journey towards a startup journey and the collaboration between, right? And even this collaboration has not been mature. People have been started discussing about it. People are talking about networking between two countries or two agencies. Events like this global startup summits brings the ecosystem stakeholders happy to see about 40 nations are participating in this. And the success of this kind of events can be measured only after 2 3 years of continuous engagement.
I agree with you on that.
So a one-time event like this makes us to get network, get introduced, but a collaboration and the taking forward happens unless otherwise a trust between two agencies, two organizations, and the investor and the investee, that has to be strengthened.
Yeah.
A lot of multinational or bilateral agreements are happening. We should also start giving thrust to that. And agencies like Startup Tamil Nadu or any other central and state government agencies which focuses on startups should look at having a long-term continuous engagements between the startup stakeholders between two countries.
That's that is true. I actually, because we do a lot of cross-border initiatives, and in Singapore, we don't really have the habit of signing an MOU, but it's not like that in the rest of the world. Most of the partnerships just stop with MOU signing, right? Somebody has to actually keep a follow on and check and do the thing, because I really believe that there's a lot of activities that can be done, especially Singapore and India, which I'm very bullish about. And then, yes, okay, Dr. Parvez, like I kept telling you, I've been following you for quite some time. I really wanted to talk to you. And then I see a lot of posts from you, which is all around the ecosystem building, right? So how do you see, just to follow up on Dr. Suresh as well, right? in your, how do you look at this ecosystem building between Southeast Asia and India? And is there any particular country, I hope you can answer it as Singapore, but is there any other country that you are very much interested in terms of this relationship? Yeah.
Yeah, we are closely working with Malaysia, and we are exploring the opportunities work with Thailand and Vietnam and so on. But we are working closely with Malaysia. But as you know, India has an advantage of we are the third largest startup ecosystem, right? And we are in a position to, upper edge. We are having a higher competitive advantage to go and teach them, right?
That's very good to know. Yeah, yeah.
They're willing to learn.
Yeah.
Like I've been talking recently with Bangladesh and
Oh,
Sri
yeah.
Lanka.
Yeah.
So they're willing to learn from our proven models and then time-tested proven models, and then they wanted to replicate.
Oh, definitely. Actually, you won't believe this. I was in China last week, and we do a lot of activities with China. Then there is a Chinese lady who came to me and said, my professor is a Sri Lankan from Imperial College, but if you can talk to her, because I'm not Sri Lankan, I'm Indian, but if you can talk to her, an Indian origin person, he would actually believe more about the, deep tech things that we are doing, because I carry the Indian demeanor rather than a Chinese going and telling. So can you come and talk to him about, how to build and scale deep tech ecosystem? That's the kind of, respect that we have across the globe. Yeah. And Dr. Suresh, if there are so many sectors, I think advanced manufacturing is one sector that I think all over the world people are focusing. But then among the emerging technologies from India, Tamil Nadu, which is the one technology or two technologies that are attractive towards a Southeast Asian investor?
The startups or the incubators which you have supported in last 4 5 years, who have reached out to the other economies or the other markets, are majorly from the robotics and automation side with deep tech, and they are able to find a market access, which is the low hanging fruit. Deep tech, but at the same time able to implement it, get the business orders, close the deal within 6 to 1 year of relationship that's been happening. And the second thing is in the biotech or biomedical side, people are trying to have a collaboration between the academia, research, people who have been, in, as you rightly said, being in India, educated in India, gone for higher studies to the other countries, have created or utilized the platforms that's been there and trying to have an R&D center here that's been happening. So these are the two sectors. But if you're looking at market access and generating revenue out of it, it is the automation thing. Yeah, that's right.
I'm in that space too, so I agree with you on that. And I am a deep tech venture studio, and we work with universities on the deep tech part of it. So this is a question to both of you, right? As a very renowned ecosystem in Tamil Nadu, both of you, CIIC and PSG STEP, what are you doing for preserving the IP of the deep tech ventures? Like, tell me anything, because this is an audience who really want, because I'm not even very clear about the IP strength of in India. Like, how do you protect the IP when you try to spin off deep tech startups? Yeah, you can go first. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I must say that the awareness about IP has tremendously increased in the last decade, especially. Like people started, respecting patents. They started filing patents, and so on. So now every incubation center has an, patent cell, IPR facilitation cell. So we also have one, and then so we help. We are institution-based incubator. So we facilitate this IP for the students and faculty innovations, as well as the innovations come from the startups who are not connected directly with the institutes. But one thing that now we have just did a little extra mile is that the tech transfer of those IPs,
Yeah, I was coming to.
right? And then so the typically what happens is that this familiar with this TRL level, right? The technology readiness level. So the 0 to 3 is at very early stage, and that the 4 to 6 is where prototyping, whereas the industry wants 7 to 9. But typically majority of the IP developed at academic or majority stays at the at the early stage of say 1 to 3, and here there is no steps to move forward to 7 to 9, right? And it goes to the shelf and then gets as an IP, right? So that's where now incubator plays. What we are doing is that we are connecting those IPs with our startups, doing the tech transfers, and then helping them to reach to that level of that industry readiness, which is TRL level 7 to 9. So I must say that this is still long way to go, but in the last 5 years at least, I say that very reasonably it has evolved well. Yeah.
Actually, we work with Manipal University, and I asked them a very simple question. If I were to license out your technology, what are the terms and conditions?
Yeah.
Manipal is a very mammoth organization.
Yeah.
But they told me, it depends. You tell us what you do usually, and we are happy to work around.
Yeah.
So I think we should really have proper terms and conditions and checks in place. Indian IPs should be protected, and they have to be commercialized into deep tech ventures. Yeah, Dr. Suresh, yeah, what's your take?
I have two, three observations or points on the IP side. One is, as Dr. Parvez mentioned, the awareness has increased, but the depth has to be more. Means that people have filed the patents, but there are potential that you can file portfolio of patents.
Okay, yeah.
Right? There's an opportunity for a startup, but we go with one patent and we decide on that and we move forward. But the startups or the innovators should be educated about the possibilities of having portfolio of patents with your one technology and things like that. That's one thing. Secondly, we are talking about filing patents in India, but if it comes to then international patents and things like that, again, more awareness has to be created and cost is involved. And a person can't go with all the countries and things like that. So he has to choose based on the market that he is going to explore. And if he doesn't have an intention to have the cross-border relationship, then he will not worry about patenting the other things. That's second thing. Third thing is, I have little bit reservations on the academia patents because academia patents mostly is based on basic research or outcome of basic research, whereas the startups or any industry will look at an outcome of an applied research, right? So slowly, with the government schemes like ANRF or the even Tamil Nadu government's CM fellowship on research, uh, started focusing on applied research. If applied research oriented funding comes to the academia, then this problem will be addressed a lot.
Oh, this is very true because Singapore has something called National Research Fund Foundation, NRF, and they provide a lot of grants. So that's like the vault, and then they provide for all the universities, and I think that's what you're suggesting, something
Yes,
like that.
because earlier funding from the government agencies for the research, the outcome or the metrics is based on the research papers that has been published, right? Whereas if you go to the patents, right, you should not publish the papers before filing the patent. So we have to be very clear with the academia, right? I'm going to apply for a funding which is for the basic research, or where the importance will be given on publishing research articles or papers. And if you have going to apply for applied research, then you should be an outcome should be measured in terms of patents, or in terms of spin-offs, or in terms of technology transfers. If the clarity has been given, then faculty or the academia will decide which one they want to choose, and they can choose the vertical and they can move forward. So this is my third observation on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Actually,
you
yeah.
for the
Thank you, Viveka. We look
lovely
forward
questions.
to collaborate with Singapore
Yeah.
universities and stakeholders, especially with the Singapore startup ecosystem holders, and we look forward to collaborate
I'm
with
very
you.
happy to
Thank you.
be
Pleasure getting
yeah,
connected with
spearheading
you.
that. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, both
Same
of
here.
you.
Yeah.